Hey, what's up, everyone? My name is Lionel. Hey, I'm your host for LT Productions, and you're watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering Hush. This is on the All Black streaming service every Thursday. This is season 2, episode 4. And boy, oh boy, this was the episode to watch. It's only episode 4. I'm sure we're probably getting like 8 episodes or so. Like, everything that happened and the stuff that we know now. Oof, 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 oof. My assumption was right, but not in the way that I thought it was. But let's get into it. All right, so we begin with Dre and Maxwell. Maxwell comes to the door. That he's been released from prison. We find out that Maxwell and Drea used to be a couple. What happened is Maxwell got with Marissa, the wife that actually died. Maxwell cheated on Drea for Marissa, and then got her pregnant, and then got married. And when they started having problems, for some reason, Drea signed up to be his counselor. Why? I don't know. He explains himself as to what happened with him and Marissa the night that she died. Everything was cool and calm while Drea was there. I guess Drea left, Marissa turned on him and ended up fighting him and trying to kill him. The whole thing was an accident. Nothing was supposed to happen in this way. I don't know. I need to know who really thunk, and I said thunk, up this character Drea. She has no morals. She had, what? What? You would counsel your ex-boyfriend who got somebody else pregnant, got married to them. You would counsel that couple. I don't get it. I don't get it. There's probably so many oaths and laws that Drea has broken. At least we know why she would not attach to Q. She was still hung up on this dude. I knew something was up. I knew Drea and Maxwell were involved somehow. How? I didn't know. Anyway, so we move on to the next thing, y'all. Keith, he's at the bar drinking, having a good time until he sees these two guys. They're looking at this website, and it looks like this is Jordan's sex site. And immediately he rushes out and goes to meet her. Drea, she's meeting with the executives of HDO Studios. And basically they are brainstorming to figure out what the show is going to be about. Really, Drea wants a show where she'll interview different interviewees and ask the real hard questions. I guess it's how it could be Oprah, but with a little edge. They want some mess, but Drea said, I don't want too much mess. And they said, hey, are the Penthouse ladies signed on? And Drea said beforehand, yes, they are. Of course, Drea is going to scheme to get them on the show. We know how that goes. Of course, the assistant's like apprehensive of saying that, but Drea's already 10 steps ahead in her mind as to what is going to happen. A great manipulator. Okay, so Jordan goes to the mansion. She gets a text while she's about to walk through the door and basically saying 100K in 3 days. Selena, she wakes up out of her bed, that Terrell, and now that we're learning it's an old girlfriend, is still sleeping there. But anyway, she gets up and goes to the terrace, and she's having memories or flashbacks of LeVar's murder. The girlfriend gets up and goes out there to check on her, and they talk about the past. Basically, the girl left Selena, and then she's like, well, now I'm back. So then they start getting intimate, and she's doing sexual things to Selena. Then all of a sudden, Tyreek gets up. He walks to the terrace. He doesn't go through, and he sees what's going on, and he walks back out. So I'm sure that's going to come into play later on in the season, but we shall see. All right, so the next scene is Keith. He's taking his children somewhere, and Jordan is being Jordan, meaning being on the internet, doing her thing. Someone is taking photos of Keith and sends one to Jordan, basically as a warning. Drea shows up and basically lets her know the things that she's making connection of, that she knows that her and Link are connected, the same tattoo as the other ladies and other stuff. And she just asked what's going on. Jordan was very hesitant on saying anything, but then ends up sharing that Link has Adrian. Andrea says, "Let me help you. I have resources to get things done." Jordan says, "No." Oh, she does say concerning she owes money. She's got to give him money. But then Drea says that, "Hey, well, let's do something. Let's get rid of him first. If you can't come up with all this money and all that, take him out." And basically, she leaves her with her thoughts, saying, "Think about it." And she also says, "I have the pull to get Adrian back." That's going to bite her in the butt. Not Drea, but for Jordan later on in the episode. So stay tuned to my review. Next thing you know, a woman pops up at Julio's house. I'm going to say Julio's house. Because Gina, you don't own nothing. You got a show. And this man got you all wrapped and tied up. This woman says, "I need money." Gina says, "I'm working on it." We found out that this is Gina's mom. She says, "You left your baby with me." So now Gina got babies. The guy has a baby, a daughter that I guess Julio doesn't know about. Whose child is this, lady? Gina? I mean, there's a lot of layers that just keeps being added on to this Gina character, and to most of the other characters too, because we didn't know anything about this past girlfriend for Selena, or the real connection between Drea and Maxwell. Even though I figured something had to be going on sexual between them. I thought Drea was cheating with Maxwell on the wife, but hey, that would have been scandalous too. So she says, "I'm trying to get all that, get everything together," because she's like, the mom's like, "If you can't provide any money for me, she can't eat, and she's gonna have to come back here." And she says, "You gotta find a way to get back into the good graces of Julio, or else she's coming back here." I said, "Oh, okay." That ain't gonna happen as far as the child. I mean, it's not gonna work. All right, so Link and Mona were at Club Asset, and he's got some paperwork that Tyreek drew up for him. Basically, he's taking back ownership of the club from Mona. And Mona basically said, "I think the F not." Basically, Mona's not gonna stand for it, but whatever. He ends up calling Jordan and telling her 5 p.m. or else, as far as getting the money to him. Jordan makes it home, and Keith confronts her immediately and says, "I know what you've been doing." She plays dumb for a minute, and then she really spills over into what's going on, as to why she did it. "I had to make some decisions. You left me there. You left me with all this burden. My mama, blah, 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 blah. And that's why I had to do it." And Keith's like, "Well, stop now. I'm home now. Let me take care of stuff." And she said, "No, I can't stop." She won't tell the other part as to what's going on, Link and all that good stuff. I don't know what's going to happen next, but there's more I have to say, because it's like, oh, now that part of Jordan's life has been exposed, is there a real reason why she's got to continue on, at least not telling her husband about this stuff? But basically, Keith says, "This is your choice." And guess what? No. I'm taking the children, and we're going to move in with my mother. And we're going to stay at my mother's. And he does just that. All right, so Dre is getting a massage in Maxwell, Texas. Is asking her to go out to dinner, and she declines. Gina then calls and says that she's on her way. But Dre says, "I had some things backed up and won't be able to meet you." So while she's on the phone, she ends up saying that she thinks that Julio killed Alejandro. And she needs to find out what's going on with him. Dre was like, "Well, I don't think that Julio would do that because of his career, da 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 da." Gina ends up begging her, just saying that she's desperate to know. And that basically sparked something in Drea. So now she could actually have her agenda, or let it be known what's up with her and what she needs from Drea in order to make whatever Drea wants happen. Who is it? She wants Gina to be her first guest. Of course, she doesn't want to, but she says, "You need to be my next guest with him, with Julio." Drea ends up going on a date with Maxwell. and they ended up getting fresh in the back seat. Yeah, so they're getting fresh in the back seat. So they went from Drea not wanting to go on a date, she goes on a date, gets fresh in the back seat, and then ends back up at Drea's house, apartment, or whatever, loft. Q shows up. Maxwell walks out of Drea's room, and you can tell that he had sex with her and slept overnight. Q confronts him about how he feels about her, him coming back into her life. He had to pick up the pieces after he left, and da 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 da. And don't mess her over. Basically, Maxwell tells him to leave. I mean, yeah, Q to leave. Drea goes to see her therapist, and for some reason, Drea avoids really talking to her therapist, and her therapist has to pull stuff out of her. They ask her, how she asked her how is her drinking. She said that she has a drink every once in a while, but not like it has been before. What about Maxwell? They said they went on a date, but there is no label to what is going on with their relationship. Um, the therapist asked, how are you feeling? And she said that she feels lost. She ends up start talking about Q. She really feels like she led him on to think that something could happen that would never happen. Um, then she switched the subject over to Maxwell, saying that Maxwell makes her feels like she's the only girl in the world. Shout out to Rihanna, not to Drea. Basically, the therapist said, he did cheat on you, got a woman pregnant, married her, and then you ended up counseling them. I don't know about Drea, but obviously she's about to get in over her head with something else going on, and I'm here for the mess. Okay, so Jordan gets the 100K out of nowhere. Where she got the money, I don't know. Maybe it was Drea, I don't know. We'll find out, I guess, next episode. Anyway, she gets it right at 5 p.m. and she sends it over to Link. And guess what time he gets it at 5:01. But guess what? You thought the story was over. That's not how the story ends. No. Link ends up saying to her, basically, it's 5:01. She's late. And told Adrian it's not looking good for you. He finally calls Jordan and basically says, you're late. And I need you to meet me at this location. Da, 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 da. Jordan at this point knows that she's never going to get out of this thing, and she ends up falling out. It's probably best to be truthful at this point, Jordan, because all of everything that you worked for however long, is out the door. Drea and Q. They talk for just a few minutes about Maxwell, and then Drea asks for a favor. Please go find Alejandro. Q does find Alejandro and basically says Gina's worried about him. And he says, I'm fine. And Q's like, why don't you go tell him, or her yourself? And he says that I'm not going to get entangled into that mess again. And Q says, the way that you speak about her and what you have said, I would fight for her. How y'all gonna fight over somebody else's wife that's still legally married, still living in his house? But whatever, we know how. All right, so Mona, Selena, and Terrell, they meet up. Basically, at this point, Mona wants to go into business on her own, be separate from Link. She wants her own links and wants businesses to funnel her money through. And basically, Selena and Tariq are going to help. And Mona's like, well, can't we use the boutiques business? And Selena said, no, we don't make that kind of money, and everyone would get that suspicious. We'll find some businesses for you. She also says, don't let Link figure it out. He's still not over this LeVar situation. And he's probably going to be coming to you pretty soon. Weren't you at the penthouse also? And Selena said, no. Me and Tyreek ended up saying that they were visiting family. Was it Southeast? Visiting family, I think said the Southeast. I was like, well, isn't the Southeast where you're trying to do business with that other drug organization? So, but whatever. But basically they said, we're going to help you out. I'm sure whoever it was, because Mona also said they got a bounty out for whoever, ever, it turns out to be LeVar's killer. So we shall see. Okay, here's that ending scene. So Jordan walks into the building that Link has been holding Adrian. She gets inside. She's pleading, let her go, take me instead. And he said, I already got you. And then, pop, he kills Adrian. I said, for real? Jordan did all of that just for him to kill her for being 1 minute late. Ridiculous. I understand, Jordan, I think why you actually let him go, because obviously he is not worth it. I don't know where it goes from here, but I'm sure you are about to do what Drea said and get rid of his tail. This episode had a lot going on, so what do you guys think of it? Please let me know in the comments. Please, again, I appreciate you for coming to my channel. Please like this video and share it, and go on and subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Until the next time we meet, peace.